Good evening, half-time at the Academy Stadium as our EDS team take on Liverpool, and the score currently stands at Manchester City 2, Liverpool 1. Here to get into that first half action is Nedum, Onuoha, Max George and Joleon Lescott. We've been having a bit of an Academy special today here on We're Not Really Here, so thank you so much for coming to join us. Remember, if you just joined us and thinking, well, how can I watch the game after this? City Plus is the place to be. You just have to subscribe. You'll get 30 days free. You get all the content and chance to watch our EDS team live in action. Thank you to John Dunn as well. Max, we're watching it here live. What was your assessment of that first half?
Yeah, a little bit of a slow start, really, wasn't it? But it seemed like as soon as Liverpool scored, we switched it on. It was like, right, let's play now, boys. And, 2-1. Still waiting for my boy to get his hat-trick, though, but there's still time. I think they're getting a bit leggy, the Liverpool lads. So, I think second half's his moment. I think he might come inside a bit more. I think he might go up front second half.
I thought I saw a little wink as well. There was a little nod like he'd heard you say that he's going to score a hat-trick.
Yeah, he knows me.
You mentioned it there, though, Max. And to all of us, what Joleon, why do we think he's playing out on the left rather than in that centre-forward role?
I'm not sure. Enzo's obviously seen something or recognised something in Liverpool, and he believes there's opportunities for that. And it's not necessarily Liam's out wide. Obviously, Cole Palmer's more central, and he's created 2 goals. You know what I mean? He set up the first, obviously outrageous back heel, and then chopped for the second one. So he's obviously recognised there was a flaw, and it's worked. So we can't argue.
Can't argue with that at all. Let's look at some of the key moments in the game then. Of course, it wasn't quite the start that City wanted. Nedum conceded the early goal. What was your assessment of that, do you think?
Yes, it was a disappointing goal to concede, but as Max said and as Joleon said, the composure from the guys after that to just carry on about their business and maybe even up the level just that little bit. You know, it's a wake-up call which maybe they didn't want to have, but the fact is they reacted really well, because we've seen times gone by where teams go behind and they lose their composure, but it really didn't seem to affect City in a negative way at all. And they just started to play better and better football. It was more cohesive, it was more front foot. And as the game went on, I think coming in at 2-1, they definitely deserved that. And they look very, very comfortable. I think there's a real desire to go and try and score more goals and stuff like this. And for me personally, I think it's a joy seeing this now, because I am seeing the similarities between, say, the way this team plays and the first team plays.
Yeah.
And even, I think was it Cole Palmer that scored that second goal?
Yeah.
When he was running down the side, I saw Mahrez. what he did to the defender, that's literally Mahrez. And, like, you know, when you have people like that coming through in the academy, it just does make you very excited.
And off that, Max, I mean, having watched it, it's similar for you though as well. Have you kind of been surprised to see the level, but also those similarities that we've kind of touched upon?
I mean, they're pressing from the front. You know, they're not letting Liverpool out, and you can see it. You can see that it goes all the way through, doesn't it? To the first team. Yeah, it's definitely got a pep. It's got a bit of pep in there. I feel.
Does.
Like, you know, we're closing down, it's all on the floor, it's all one touch, yeah, it's great to watch.
And Lavia as well there in that centre holding role, kind of similar to Fernandinho. Just a quick question on the first goal they conceded, gents. It looked like a ball in between the 2 centre halves. Would you be looking at your centre backs to be doing a little bit more there?
Yeah, obviously the first, I think it went on the left side of the left side centre half, so when the striker's in between them, the opposite centre half needs to come across and narrow up, so he can track the run. But yeah, there's obviously always something you could look to improve, and any goal you concede, but it's the first time these players would have played together ever, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
there's obviously understanding strengths and weaknesses of each opponent, but as an individual you would look and think, could he have closed the passing line off and avoided that pass through there, or made it a little bit difficult? But again, you've got to respect what Liverpool are bringing. They've got quality players as well, and obviously they work on their patterns, and unfortunately we've been on the back end of one.
I think looking at that goal actually as well, you could see that maybe the defenders are a bit more passive than maybe they used to be in. You know, I think the fact that they were able to play a ball into the 9 to set it off unopposed, then the 10's running forward unopposed, and then the goal scorer's got a chance to run it behind unopposed. Like, as a defender, you want to be able to get close to somebody, whether it's to make it difficult for them or to block a shot. But I think for that goal there, they weren't quite up to that. But since that point, I think they've been very good.
They really have, and we have 2 goals to show for it. So we can take a little look at this first goal now. And Joleon, you alluded to it, we had the back heel from Cole Palmer, but it was a lovely bit of play. I think we can bring you the highlight here now.
Yeah, again, it's gone back, and then I think Cole Palmer's recognised the first run, and then obviously Robertson's there's recognised where to be, and it's just the understanding, and again, it comes from repetition. Where should I put this next pass? Do I need to know he's there, or should he be there? And that's the kind of thing they've understanding is someone should be there. If I put the ball there, and if someone is there, he gets an opportunity to score a goal. And that's what's happened.
Funny as well, I think it was Tommy Doyle with the ball over the top to Cole Palmer as well, which was absolutely delightful. And then for the second goal, I mean, Max, it was kind of the Cole Palmer show, really. You alluded to it, looked like Mahrez. Some sensational solo goal, wasn't it, Max?
Yeah, it was, yeah. I mean, he's dropped the defender, and to be honest, I was just trying to get over the first goal, because I can't see without my glasses on. I was watching it live, and that's as close up as I've seen that back here. I didn't realise it was that good. You asked me a question, I was like, mate, how good's that? But yeah, both goals were brilliant. But yeah, I mean, there's just so much quality out there, and like you say, there is a hint of Mahrez here. Which you see, like he's going down the right here.
Good movement.
It's lovely, isn't it? That's it. It's that feint of a shot in it, and then onto his right foot. It's lovely.
I'm not sure Mahrez has that ability with his right foot.
True that. Bet like that, Mahrez, you're out, mate. The quality that is on show. I mean, Nedum, you kind of alluded to that. Are you? Has it surprised you slightly? Do you think?
It's not surprised me, to be honest, because I've heard good things about the academy for a long time now, and some of the players that we were speaking about before the game, we're speaking about them for a reason, because they do actually have a body of work which shows that at this level they are exceptionally talented. So to see them working together the way that they're doing, and to see how that talent mixes in within a side as well, I think it makes for performances like this. And like I say, even though they're not in the first team, you can guess how City's first team play based on how these players are playing. And all the players, they have a level of composure, but they do work hard, and they overall making the right decisions more often than not. Obviously, it's a different test when you go play against opposition who are more well trained and have been playing the game longer and so on. But at this sort of level here, like, what more could you really ask of them apart from doing the things which you've asked them to do? And they certainly are doing that.
And as we kind of look towards the second half, Joleon, what do you think? What a song, by the way. James has just come on here in the stadium. But what do you think then will be the motive for the second half? Much of the same, or do you think having to keep that intensity?
Yeah, that'd be it. Much of the same when the intensity's right, because obviously when it wasn't, Liverpool scored and were on top. So you've got to again be respectful and just keep the constant press on and tempo. As I said, you may have the ball for long spells, and if you do, you play at the right tempo in order to kind of rest and recuperate, but also create chances for yourself.
We were talking a little bit as well as the game was playing out, but talking about how much confidence plays a role. I think obviously we see that with the adult players and within our Manchester City's first team, but I guess, and Max having been through it as well, confidence is very important, particularly for a younger person, say, do you think, and when playing football?
Yeah, I think like, one thing I probably lacked was self-belief, and I think that is such a huge part of making it. Like we were talking about Phil Foden before, who's got that self-belief, he's got the ability, but having the work to go with it, the work ethic. And like Nedum said, being in these surroundings and everything, they've got everything here. You couldn't want any more. So if you don't believe in it being here, then you're probably in the wrong place, because you don't get better than this.
You really don't, and I guess then that's where you kind of have to, Nedum, you were asking yourself that question, but then also kind of having to go, right, if I haven't, maybe I'm struggling with that self-belief, where do you think it can come from? Does it come from just back to basics and try have a few good games?
I think that's a good question. I think when I look around here and I see this in this moment, the resources are all here, and it's not just a case of having a nice field or having a nice gym. You've got people who are very, very experienced, like someone like a Joleon, like the coaches who were there. They've had careers. They've brought through many players. They've seen players come of great ability levels and make it for City. Seen players come of not so great ability levels and make it for City. They understand how it all works. And I think as a player, when you're in this moment, if you really want to be a professional, then, as I say, everything's here for you to make it happen. It's not guaranteed that it will, but you give yourself the best opportunity, because whatever you put in here, I think you can get out of it. Yeah. I think the ability to be able to speak to certain coaches and try and understand why I'm doing this, why are we doing that, why does this player do this, why is this person working harder at that, and so on. It's all here. And obviously not everybody is into that sort of analytical approach and trying to figure out all that stuff, but the people who do, as time passes, when you start to lose that physical edge, which maybe you might have had if you were a big player when you were younger, you start to understand the game. And I think this game of football gets a lot easier when you understand how everything within it works. And it's a great spot here to be able to learn out at a very early age, because, as I say, the resources are plentiful. And
speaking of that understanding, you were kind of saying as well, when I was quite surprised to see a player that I'm really excited to see, Claudio Gomez, playing at right back, and Bernabe similarly playing at left back. But to be able to do that as maybe more holding or midfielders, that comes from an understanding of the game, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course, and you have to have a level of quality. Not everyone is comfortable doing that, and them being midfielders and the way we play our fullbacks inside, it's more natural for them to be in them positions than it is, say, an orthodox fullback. So the system obviously suits the profile of the individual as well, and vice versa. So again, there's a lot of factors that go into it. Could everyone play that way? And does that mean every team, or they could play for every team? Possibly not. But we even see in our first team, we don't ask Mendy to do the same things we ask Cancelo to do, because their attributes don't allow them to do the same thing. So, as I said, it's understanding the profile of the individual and the system they play.
And we haven't had a chance. I think we're going to do a focus a little bit on the first team coach here, but he seems to have kind of full control over what he does with this team, which I think is usually quite different to what we've seen in the past. Do you think, Joleon?
Yeah, I think that's the first time, probably since Patrick Vieira, to be fair. I think there's obviously a level of respect for Patrick being the academy manager, or the 23s that he had. And same with Enzo now. Obviously, he knows the manager, he knows the kind of hierarchy in the club, so he's kind of been able to implement a level of professionalism needed to be at the top.
Yeah.
There's a lot more consequences in regards to if you're not training right, you don't play, which hasn't always been the case due to minutes needed and stuff like that. So I think it's helped them. It's obviously helped them in terms of results, but also preparing them more than they realise for when they go out.
Wicked. Well, they have just taken to the pitch now. That is the Manchester City EDS team are just warming up behind us. So we are going to hand you back over to City Plus. Remember, that is the only place you can watch this game live. It is currently 2-1. Little thumbs up there from Nedum. Very, very cool. I still buzz off these players. But if you do want to watch it, City Plus, you just have to subscribe. Get that 30-day free trial as well. See how it tickles your fancy. And it's how you can watch these boys live in action. It's a great game here. 2-1 is the current score. Come join us at full time as we'll be speaking about what we've seen and a little bit more from our guests in Nedum, Max and Joleon. Thanks for joining us. Come on, City.